Let's observe this situation.
4, 3, sit down. No. Sit. No. Bishop, stop. Bishop, stop.
Many people don't understand why this dog behaves like that, or they assume that the owner is facing this situation because she has a pit bull, a vicious dog. That's completely wrong. What if I told you the pit bull is behaving normally and that this dangerous situation was caused by mistakes made by the owner? At this stage, we are close to an accident. When owners can no longer handle this behavior, they abandon them. And when it's a pit-type dog, that abandonment confronts them with public fear, and deep-rooted prejudice gives them no chance at adoption. With shelters at full capacity, it almost always leads to euthanasia. I made a full documentary exposing this injustice against pit-type dogs. Tap the card at the top right, or watch it at the end of this video. Why do these behaviors happen in the first place? In this video, you will understand why the pit bull behaves this way and the do's and don'ts to make sure you never end up in this situation. To understand what's happening, we'll study 3 essential points. First point, the hierarchy. Let's begin with a fact that many people refuse to accept. The domestic dog, Canis lupus familiaris, is not just similar to the wolf, it is scientifically classified as a subspecies of the gray wolf, Canis lupus. That means dogs and wolves are not unrelated. They share a common ancestor, and they belong to the same species group. Despite thousands of years of domestication, dogs have retained strong ancestral instincts, especially regarding group structure and social hierarchy. In the wild, wolves live in organized packs, and each member knows their rank. Dogs function in the exact same way. Hierarchy is not a learned behavior, it is instinctive. This means that in any group of dogs, even in your home, there will always be a social structure, and at the top of that structure is the hierarchical leader, the one who has access to priority resources and intervenes when needed. Other members recognize this leader by instinct and submit accordingly. For example, the leader eats first, sleeps in the safest or most strategic locations, and makes decisions that the rest follow without question. Let's look at a practical example. In this group, we see 2 bulldogs, an adult lichen shepherd, and 2 young dogs. The 2 bulldogs clearly have a high place in the hierarchy. They dominate the 2 young ones both actively and passively. As in any canine group, the younger dogs are automatically placed at the bottom of the hierarchy. Each time the bulldogs assert dominance, the lichen shepherd intervenes to reaffirm that he holds a higher status. Watch carefully during this moment. One of the bulldogs tries to gain height over the lichen shepherd. This is a common canine gesture to challenge authority. The lichen shepherd immediately reacts, defending his position. After the correction, the bulldog shows active submission, crouched posture, tucked tail, lowered ears. For more details and insights about canine body language and postures, you'll find a very interesting video linked at the top right of the screen. It covers the full body language chart. So we might assume the lichen shepherd is the leader of the pack, but he's not. The true pack leader here is the owner. Let's watch this moment. The owner whistles. All the dogs stop what they're doing and return to him. Even the lichen shepherd, who was in the middle of a confrontation, stops when the owner calls his name and sits in front of him. When the owner touches him, the dog shows his front teeth. This isn't aggression, it's a submissive grin. The submissive grin is a type of appeasement gesture intended to calm down a situation. It's a canine signal, meaning, I respect your authority. This proves an essential point. Dogs are hardwired to live within a social hierarchy. And if you live with a dog, then you're part of that structure. So you must assume your position as the hierarchical leader. And if you have a family, it's your job to make sure every human member of the household is seen as above the dog. Unfortunately, many people ignore this, or worse, they reject it because of a bad mindset. Second point, the mindset. While visiting a dog website, I found this conversation between 2 people. A person with a poor understanding of dog behavior said,
"My dog sleeps next to me on his duvets, but the bed is too small for both of us. He leaves after 30 minutes.
Another person answered him saying,
I don't agree with letting dogs sleep in the marital bed. Dogs are like wolves and live in packs. Only the dominant sleep high. By letting your dog sleep with you, you encourage him to adopt dominant behavior towards you. and it can become very dangerous. The dog should always remain below you in the hierarchy.
Totally wrong. Saying that a dog functions like a wolf shows a complete lack of understanding. Dogs dominating humans doesn't exist. If that were true, all dog owners would have been killed long ago. A dog just needs rules, not to be under human authority.
This kind of mindset is dangerous, not because of love or kindness, but because it leads to a major mistake in perception called anthropomorphism. That's when we project human thoughts, emotions, and intentions onto our dogs. It happens when we say things like, "He's punishing me," "He's being manipulative," "He feels guilty," "He's testing me," "He's jealous of the baby." These are human social behaviors, but your dog is not a human. He doesn't think in terms of revenge, morality, or fairness. What you interpret as guilt is often just a calming signal. What you call jealousy is likely resource protection. What you read as, "He's doing this to annoy me," is simply a reaction to an unclear structure. So even when your intentions are full of love, treating your dog like a human confuses him deeply. You think you're honoring him by treating him as your equal, but your dog won't see it as a sign of respect. He'll interpret it differently. From his instinctive point of view, you're no longer behaving like a leader. And when you stop being the leader, your dog will instinctively take that role, not by choice, not by pride, but because his biology demands it. And that challenge shows up in very real physical ways. He stops listening to you. He growls when you correct him. He refuses your orders. And if you insist, he may go as far as to bite you. Not because he's evil, but because to him, you've lost your place in the hierarchy, and he's defending his. And for the dog, that's normal. Biting, barking, growling, even fighting, are all part of how he communicates. But for the human, it's a disaster, because we don't share the same point of view. Third point of view. What seems normal for a dog might look dangerous to us, and what seems normal for us might seem very powerful to a dog. Let's take a simple example. You tie your dog outside while you go into the supermarket. During your absence, he pulls, bites the leash, struggles for several minutes. But when you come back, you release him in 3 seconds. To you, that's nothing. But to your dog, you just did what he couldn't do, no matter how hard he tried. In his eyes, you're strong, very strong. Listen to this testimony from a man who doesn't own a dog, but a bison.
If wild things out here tearing up a gate or something and trying to get through it, he can't get out most of the time. I can go over there and open it with one hand because I unlock it, and I open, and he thinks I'm really strong because he might have been there an hour or two trying to get through that gate. But I go over there and I just do it like it's nothing to it, and he really believes. He'll look at me and he'll go, "Wow." I can grab him by the horns, and he thinks I got him. You know I don't have them, but he thinks I have them.
Oh, good Lord.
This is where I'm dominant right here. They don't like their horns messed with.
This is how your dog sees you, when you act calmly and with control. But when we forget these differences in perception, we misread our dog, and we start reacting like humans instead of leading like canines expect. This is where tension builds. This is how hierarchy is lost. To conclude these 3 points, this owner lost her position as the hierarchical leader with her pit bull. She probably believed she was doing the right thing, acting with care and behaving in a way that seemed completely normal. But in reality, through her actions and behavior, the dog interpreted things differently and took a higher position in the hierarchy. Let me be clear. If you lose your position as the hierarchical leader, this is exactly what awaits you. Watch how the dog behaves inside the home. Observe the signs of control, where he positions himself, how he ignores commands, how he growls at her when she gives him orders. Now imagine the same dog outside, on a leash, in a stimulating environment. If he no longer recognizes you as the leader, he may pull, bark, lunge, even attack, completely on his own initiative. This isn't dominance in the human sense. It's just instinct filling a leadership void. Ignoring the hierarchical nature of dogs isn't an act of love. It's a misunderstanding of their nature. When emotion takes the place of structure, you fall into anthropomorphism, seeing your dog through a human lens instead of through his own instincts. That's how good intentions become misinterpreted by the dog, leading to confusion, tension, and potentially dangerous behavior. A dog that recognizes you as the hierarchical leader will never act without your permission. He won't take initiative on his own. He will seek your eye contact, wait for a signal, and only then act. and this simple behavior alone can dramatically reduce the risk of accidents, both inside the home and out in public. The good news is, as long as the irreversible hasn't happened yet, it's not too late to reclaim your leadership role. In fact, hierarchical positions in a pack constantly shift. Nothing is ever fixed. To keep this video short, I'll make a second one where I'll explain exactly what to do and what to avoid so that you never find yourself in this kind of situation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. On this channel, I share my passion for dogs and animals. I'll keep bringing you educational and entertaining content. If you love dogs, don't hesitate. Join me.